Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time once again for some more Lost Eidolons. Now before I go any further, you might notice something new on the screen here, just below the auto map in the top right hand corner of the screen. You'll see what appears to be a head and shoulders inside a laurel wreath, followed by two numbers separated by a slash, indicating a fraction, 50 out of 50. These are leadership points, which Eden now has. They are a resource which we can spend at camp to perform various actions. They will replenish fully at every new camp. I don't know if we'll ever get more than 50, like if we'll get more points later on. But there's no point trying to save them for a future chapter. You know, you use them when you got them and then they're gone. Right. This is a daytime camp with the sun in the sky. Let's step outside and speak to the attendant and see what he wants to say to us.
Captain, the camp expansion you requested is complete. Your troops should be able to rest a little more easily now.
Well done. I'll go take a look.
So it seemed there have been a number of changes to camp since we were last here. And I'm going to stroll around just in case I miss anything important. Because, you know, every camp there are new things lying around for us to be on the lookout for and interact with. So this is new. I'm not sure what's going to be here long term, but they're starting to set something up. Also, they've fenced off this area. Not entirely sure what it's for. Oh, have they moved the promotion stage over here, by the look of it? For speech giving. Maybe they have. Either way, now we can skip that mechanic entirely and just go straight to promotions. And over here is a tent with someone inside it. Looks like an old friend. Now, I'm aware I've got a bit of a backlog of journal entries, so I'm going to be reading some of these as I meander around camp. So Robin's in this tent, and I think I spy Robert as well. Let's go and see what they're up to.
Yeah? Let me think about it.
I'm glad we won and all, but our side took a pounding. Well, you certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, those sorts of battles are bigger than the little skirmishes we're used to. I imagine we'll have more like this in our future. We'll need to brush up on our tactics. Or better yet, talk to an expert. Indeed, in the last battle we let Robert take quite a large amount of damage, and we should probably try to prevent that happening in the future. In fact, it was only the fact that he leveled up while doing it that seemed to ensure his survival at all through the additional health gain. Let's have a little chat with Robin while we're here.
Hi there.
Hey look, we laid siege to a town. Isn't that exciting? You just took part in a siege. How's it feel?
Yeah.
Honestly, my hands are still shaking. I can't believe we did that. We fought in a real battle, and we actually won! I wonder what everyone back home would think.
Ah.
Mercenaries to swashbuckling rebels, eh? It's a pretty exciting story.
Right.
Oh, definitely. Speaking of which, I've been thinking. I know we can't go back to Lanetta for a while, but maybe we could help them out from afar. How so? I was thinking we could send some things back home. Every little bit helps, right? And they might like to know that we're still out here, thinking of them.
Uh-huh.
I'm impressed. You're growing up already. So, did you have any specific ideas?
Ha!
Well, I was thinking when we get to Castilian, I could pick up a necklace for Camille. And some new shoes for Ariel. Ooh, and for Patrice, I was thinking... well, hang on, when you said send some things back home, I thought you meant food and supplies. If you're just talking about souvenirs for all your little lovebirds, you're on your own, pal. Aw, you're no fun. But he might have had a good point there. You know, maybe if we do start sending some supplies back home, they'll think well of us. And our reputation will spread. You know, people who care for the community. And, you know, they don't just care about the battles they're taking part in, but, yeah, the whole kingdom. Okay, so we got tents being set up over here now. This one is currently unoccupied. Looks a little bit like Marshall's tent with a table with documents there. So perhaps some kind of administrator or scholar will be set up there in the future. This tent looks quite important. It's got heraldry on the outside. It's got guards posted. And there's a glittering, exciting... That's a very large bed. Perhaps for a very large individual. A glittering, exciting document on the table, which we will absolutely read. Call to arms. To be read aloud with enthusiasm in a tavern or other gathering place where it is safe to do so. Countrymen, listen well. Some of you love my family. Others do not. Many of you have called me the Broken Blade, even to my face. As a young man, that title filled me with shame. Today, I embrace it, because that shame reminds me of a truth I must never forget. That allowing the Empire to seize our homeland was a grave failure. Each of us shares the blame for that failure, and all of us bear the burden of repairing it. The Empire is broken. I do not need to tell you this. You who experience their abuses every day in your markets, your squares, your homes. No more. House Fenice marches to set the world right. Already our forces win victories across Benario, but freeing one province is not enough. Soon we will cross the borders of Florient and bring our fight to the Empire's door. I will not ask you to join us. I command it. It is your duty as Benarians as it is mine. Rise, rise and fight! And now we have acquired a new item. The call to arms. Let's go over a few journal entries there. As we have Castilian. The old kingdom capital, now an aging fort city. Famed for its towering walls and outdoor markets, Castilian is the ancestral seat of numerous powerful factions, including House Orsio, the late royal family, and House Fenice, their closest ally. In recent years, the city has become the focal point of rebel activity in the province, owing in no small part to Isoro Fenice, patriarch of House Fenice, and currently the head of a burgeoning Benarian independence movement. Let's see if we have anything on House Fenice. Yes, we do! A proud family with a storied history, House Fenice arose in antiquity from the city watch of Castilian and enjoyed a close relationship with the former kingdom's ruling power, House Orsio. In the family's glory days, Amadio Fenice served as Benario's chief protector and was widely beloved by its people. Tragically, House Fenice's flame was snuffed during the unification, when Amadio was killed during the war. The royal family was massacred, and Benario fell. In the years that followed, the Fenice family's influence has waned, and their fortune has been all but obliterated under vindictive imperial taxes. Nonetheless, the embers of the once great name still burn, and Amadio's legacy lives on through his brother Isoro's rebellion and his son Balastar's victories on the battlefield. After years of biding their time, House Fenice is now poised to explode from the ashes and unleash the fires of hell on its enemies. Who have we got left to read of under people? We'll read of Isoro, Balastar and Chelsea, but Alright. Gilbert, before we forget him. In Benario, it is said that an old man's head holds more wisdom than a king's library. In Gilbert's case, it also holds more booze than a king's wine cellar. Native to the Benario province, Gilbert was once a famed tactician in his own right, with a dedication to his people matched only by his love of strong drink. During the imperial conquest, it was his quick wit that saved the lives of countless commoners, many of whom were conscripted into war against their will. Yet there is only so much one man can do in the face of overwhelming might. Disillusioned by the Empire's victory and those sacrificed to lay its foundations, Gilbert retired from military service and renounced the world. In years thereafter, he could most often be found at the nearest pub, heavily inebriated, yet cursed with the unshakable lucidity of one who has seen too many senseless deaths. When a promising young mercenary invited him to join the rebel cause, Gilbert begrudgingly took up arms once more to finish the work he failed to complete so long ago. And if we take a little look at Gilbert for a moment. Gilbert. There we go. He is a wizard or mage, and he specializes in dark magic spells. These tend to have a debilitating aspect. For instance, this spell inflicts the immobilized status. So this tent belongs to someone important, probably someone related to the House Phoenicia, who has been going around recruiting people to join the army. Let's continue on our way and see. So we found one note in camp already. There may be one along here somewhere, but it does not seem to be the case. Okay. Now, I don't want to go down there just yet, but rather I'd like to search through here just quickly. Ah, we're back to Robin and Robert's tent. Okay. Okay, in that case, we can venture forth in this direction. And it would appear that a whole new area of camp has opened up for us. And we're going to enjoy it. And I'll probably also read through some more lore entries as well to reduce the growing build-up. Now, over there, I see a number of people, one in particular who looks somewhat familiar by that tent. But for now, let's head straight into this area and see what happens. So here we have a blacksmith and his apprentice hard at work. We have Sarah working in the camp, cook, the kitchen. There's Leon and some merchants and Andrea. And the camera pans through this area, showing us all these people hard at work and gathered in this area. So I see Leonard over here. Now, the blacksmith and his apprentice, we can speak to them, but they have no conversations. I hope in the future they will have. In the playtest, they didn't have any conversations either. Let's see. Nope, nothing. Okay.
What is it?
Well, look who suddenly showed up. I haven't seen you in camp for a while. I come and go as my duties dictate. And those duties are whatever Lady Marshall requires. You know, I'm sort of your boss now, so as far as ranks go, I could order you to tell me the truth. Then do it, or leave me be. Are you this prickly with everyone? Respect is earned. But you apparently hand out disrespect for free. I beg your pardon? Your little tirade at Sarah back in Lanetta. Ah. That was a momentary lapse in judgment. I stand by the sentiment, but perhaps my delivery could have been more diplomatic.
Momentary lapse.
If I've given cause for offence, please know it wasn't my intention. Apology accepted, even if it is a little half-assed. But I'm not the one you should be apologising to, you know? Duly noted. Alright, let's go find Leon. He was over here by the... Oh, look! There's Lady Esperanza, our prisoner, under guard. She doesn't look very happy about her situation. We might pop by her in a little bit. Oh, and here we have a new feature. A message board with wanted posters on. Let's go look at some of these. Wanted. Thing. Charges: publication of seditious materials banned by imperial decree. Wanted. Sarah. Charges: unauthorized and indecent use of the Emperor's personal lavatory. Wanted. Gilbert. Known aliases: the Smiling Strategist, 10-Barrel Gilbert. Description: elderly male, bald, bearded, recently joined rebel army, described as a senile drunkard, but do not underestimate him. This man is extremely dangerous. Charges: treason, spycraft, impersonating an imperial officer, sabotage of siege equipment by unspeakable means, and many other crimes. With the exception of Gilbert here, a number of these posters were submitted by Kickstarter backers, and the contents of the wanted poster boards will be randomized over the course of the game, so we'll see any number of wanted posters popping up from time to time. I did not submit a wanted poster, so you won't see one that I am in any way responsible for. I kind of wish I had, really. I can imagine a few amusing things I could have put on one. But oh well, there we go. And here's Leon. Let's see what he makes of this whole situation.
Hey. Hey, Cap, get a load of this place. Quite a step up from our previous sleeping arrangements.
This should be enough for you lowly soldiers, right, Leon? I'll be sleeping in a castle, of course, being an officer and all.
Yeah, very funny. You should take a look around, get familiar with the place. Just try to keep your jaw off the ground, being an officer and all.
Let's talk to Leon again, because I saw a side conversation there.
Hey.
Well, we finally made it to Mora. Don't imagine I'll have time to grab those flowers from Mother. Oh, don't beat yourself up. We never could have, to tell you the truth, I don't think we'll be able to stop by Mum's grave anytime soon anyway. Can't be helped, I guess. She'll understand. I do feel bad, though. I promised I'd take care of you, and here I am dragging you from one battlefield to the next. What am I, some dumb kid? Stop it with that crap. You look out for me enough. Too much, actually. It's kind of a pain sometimes. Besides, my folk always liked you better anyway. That's not true, and you know it. All I'm saying is, don't fret so much. You might be a nosy, do-gooding smartass, but as far as I'm concerned, you're doing just fine.
Ah.
Thanks, Leon. That means a lot to me. And we got a rapport boost with Leon.
Hey.
Which we can now see displayed there.
Yeah, thanks.
And Merchant Porter is here. Why, what brings you to this place?
Welcome back.
Porter, I can't believe you followed us all this way.
I can't believe you remembered my name. When I heard you'd all joined Isoro's rebel faction, I came as fast as I could.
Yeah, I'll bet. Gods know you've made enough money off of us.
That's quite cold, sir. I assure you, my intentions are nothing but honorable. I'm just a humble merchant looking out for his clientele.
Right.
All right. But we're in the middle of a war, so don't hold it against me if you leave with empty pockets.
If one of us is leaving here with empty pockets, I assure you it won't be me.
And as if to prove it, he gave us some money. So Eden says there's a really nice smell coming from the kitchen, so we should probably go say hello to Sarah. She seems to have taken over from Robert as camp cook. Or they're both doing it. There's plenty of people to feed.
Hello.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. She doesn't
I
want to
can't
talk
thank you
yet.
enough.
So be it.
How's it going?
What's the story, big man?
Looks like I'm not the only one who followed his nose.
Right? I was in the middle of training, and next thing I knew, I was standing here drooling. I heard Sarah had taken over cooking, but man, I wasn't expecting the food around here would change this much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Robert's cooking too.
But it never made your mouth water like this.
What do you think she's making over there?
Not sure. Smells like some kind of roast.
That scent's making me feel kind of funny.
I believe that's called hunger.
Not that. I mean like nostalgic or something. It reminds me of that job we did near Portum. Remember that tavern we stayed at?
Oh yeah. That place we got into a fight and you smashed a bunch of furniture.
Yeah, after we got out of there, I swore I'd never go back again. Now I kind of miss it.
Sheesh. When did you get so sentimental?
Hey, that's what good food does. Brings people together, gets their memory going, starts conversation. Why do you think I'm always going on about it?
If the smell alone is enough to do all that, I guess I better go try some.
You better hurry. Something tells me there won't be much left.
Do we have an entry for Portum? Ah, we have a side quest. Lovely. Portum. The province's largest shipping hub, Portum is also known as the Jewel by the Sea. Though its cultural vibrance has been dimmed by the unification, the city remains a cosmopolitan melting pot and is known among Banarians for its rich seafood culture. The signature local dish is espetos, a salty street food that consists of cane-skewered sardines cooked over a wood-fired grill. Let's read of... the Emperor is a member of House Zerpiel, so let's get that out of the way before it goes on for too long. Oh, slippery snake. Right. Prior to the unification, Artemesia was stable, but not always peaceful. For centuries, its neighbouring kingdoms engaged one another in various armed conflicts over matters great and small, creating periodic tumult for common people everywhere. The sole exception to this was the kingdom of Liviu, a humble land whose royal family, House Zerpiel, mostly kept to their own affairs, at least until the birth of a young prince named Ludivictan. Ambitious by nature and driven by authoritarian philosophies, Ludivictan, there's no D there, just a C, became convinced of the need for a unified continent with himself as its leader. In a matter of years, the cunning young lord had sold his family's modest holdings to cobble together an army of bandits, pirates, and other unsavoury characters. Almost like he was playing a 4X game and decided to play on the hardest difficulty by playing some peaceful and ambitious kingdom and play it in a completely different way. Wow. Before anyone knew what was happening, House Zerpiel had turned the world upside down and Ludivictan was crowning himself emperor. Today, House Zerpiel reigns supreme, issuing an endless stream of edicts from the capital city of Le Royeur. While critics of their rule are quick to cite the empire's many failings, from crushing taxes to rampant corruption, supporters point out the benefits of the unification has brought, including standardized laws and increased trade between provinces. Yeah, right. What have the Liviuvians ever done for us? Nonetheless, as Ludivictus' absence from the public eye grows increasingly prolonged, whispers and speculation have begun to abound, and the ever-present embers of uprising threaten to become a wildfire. That uprising, of course, headed by Isoro of House Phoenice. The patriarch of the noble Phoenice family, Isoro once fought to resist the Empire's conquest of Artemesia. His failure cost the life of his brother and the dignity of their house, or so Isoro seems to believe. Now, with vengeance rekindled and years of preparation, Isoro leads the largest rebel force in Benario, determined to finish what he started all those years ago. And of course, Isoro cannot really be mentioned without Balastar. But let's hold that. We're in Mora, a ranching community surrounded by fields and pastures, known far and wide for breeding the best horses in Artemesia. The town has fallen on difficult times in the last few years, thanks to crushing taxes and new competition from imperial breeders in Florient. Among Benarians, Mora is also known for its flower trade, particularly the Moran poppy, a delicate white blossom that was a favourite of Leon's mother. That may be very useful for us to know. So I should probably really be looking to read all of these as soon as possible, because it might help unlock some stuff. Marshall is an Imperial Inquisitor. Imperial Unification. Let's get that out of the way, right? The conquest of Artemesia's 7 former kingdoms by Ludivictus of House Zerpiel, which established the Ludivictan Empire roughly 20 years ago. Officially referred to as the Great Unification, on penalty of death, the specifics of that conflict have been distorted over time, subject to a great deal of revisionism by the Ministry of Propaganda. Though the unification initially brought positive developments for some, time and neglect have largely erased any such benefits. The majority of common people have experienced a marked decline in quality of life, particularly in the last few years, with rampant corruption, widening class divisions, and runaway monster populations. You know, that corruption, have I already? No, is a pretty major issue. An endemic issue among the imperial bureaucracy. Corruption touches every level of society in the Ludivictan Empire, from the administration of local taxes to the governance of entire provinces. Characterized by an atmosphere of malign negligence, it is the most prevalent form of oppression in Artemesia. While it can sometimes be dramatic or violent, the day-to-day reality of corruption is most often felt as a kind of crushing grind. Basic freedoms are denied, simple needs go unmet, the smallest of luxuries are reserved for the wealthy, and bribery is a constant unofficial tax on mundane interactions with civil officials. Since Leviticus first took power, an atmosphere of distrust has always been palpable in certain corners of Artemesia. In the early days of the Empire, that distrust remained unspoken, with an endless stream of promises from the capital of impending stability and reform. Even House Zerpiel's fiercest enemies had little appetite for further violence, particularly as the continent was still reeling from war. But with the passing of time, greater and greater numbers of imperial subjects have grown frustrated by the Empire's rampant corruption, oppression and neglect. As discontent has grown louder, imperial attempts to stifle it have grown increasingly heavy-handed, further fueling the grand spiral toward a new civil war. And with that lore dump, let's go and see what Sarah is up to over here in the kitchen, now that even Francisco has expressed an interest. So now we have an added reason to go over and ask her ourselves.
Hello. Oh, Eden. I was wondering when you'd drop by.
I didn't have much choice. That smell is dangerously good.
It's just our mom's old recipe. Andrea was talking about it the other day, and it made me hungry for it.
It's making the whole camp hungry now. So, you've appointed yourself camp cook?
I thought I should make myself useful to everyone, considering I'm the one who got you all into this.
Hey, I didn't say...
No, it's fine. It's just... I see the way you all come back after battles, covered in cuts and bruises. I can't help out there. After what happened with... well, let's just say... I don't have the stomach for combat. But a war isn't just won on the battlefield. And I know my way around a cookfire. So here I am. Oh, I hope that's okay. I don't really know the chain of command around here yet.
If it makes you happy, I say go for it. Something tells me nobody's going to complain.
Good. Now grab an empty seat and I'll fix you a plate.
You don't have to. I can help myself once everybody else has gotten some.
Eden, you're a leader now. Sharing food is one of the best ways to get to know people. It'd be stupid to pass up the chance.
You sound like Andrea.
Now there's someone you ought to share a meal with. She could use a little socializing.
So this is a change from the playtests. Previously we had to have a meal with Sarah. Sarah has a slightly odd clipped delivery that makes her sound almost like a disjointed computer-generated voice, even though she's credited to a human voice actress. It's not all the time, but occasionally it happens. So let's look into this. You can invite allies to join you in special camp activities. You'll gain more rapport with characters depending on the activities you take part in together, so some characters like certain activities more than others. There are lots of ways to approach a conversation during camp activities. New topics can be acquired by talking with other characters or by reading books scattered throughout the camp. So getting topics, good idea. Certain camp activities require leadership points in order to initiate. These are the leadership points we have. We currently have 50. It's showing 30 going down to 20 there. During the playtest at one point we had 30 leadership points for this camp and then 50 for the next camp. Leadership points are restored to its maximum each time you visit camp. Any remaining leadership points won't be carried over between chapters. Use it or lose it. Well, we've been invited to have a meal with Andrea, and it's literally on our quest list, so let's do that.
Yeah?
Look, would you like to have a meal? It's going to cost me 15 leadership points, okay? You invited me. I'm here. Now what do you want? So there was a time when this was animated with them sitting at a table having a meal. Look, let's talk about your sister's cooking, okay? Alright, what exactly are you after here? What am I after? We came here to eat and now we're eating, that's all. You sure you have the time to spare? Hey, no matter how busy I am, I always make time for Sarah's smart advice.
What's your problem?
What? Why you bring her up all of a sudden? Oh, I get it now. Well, you can keep your distance, you hear. If you so much as look at her wrong, I'll bloody well kill you. Seriously. Andrea, hey, whoa. Your sister went to all this trouble, and are you going to let it go cold while you hassle me? Come on, let's eat. No one has the strength to argue when they're hungry. Fine, I'll let you off with a warning. But I better not hear word or complaint about the food, okay? With food like this, who would complain? I guess you're not that bad, all things considered. From you, that's an honor. I'm busy. You can clean up, can't you? So I don't know if they changed the meal system. Okay, we got a small recovery potion of what now? Small recovery potion, 2 small recovery potions, and a lime cordial, which is a gift. It's a rapport item. A sweet dessert drink made with syrup and spices, often served cold. Who likes drinks? Gilbert. Who likes food and drink? I'm going to say Francisco. I'm not certain that either of those two is the best to give that gift to, or if that's a gift we should be wanting to give. But hey, that went well. However, looking here on the map, let's look a little closer. I see we have another marker by Leon, which looks like a new side quest. Let's look into that, shall we?
Hey.
So, how are you liking Castilian?
So, how are you liking Castilian?
It's pretty impressive. I knew this place was bigger than Luneta, but seeing it in person is another thing. Have you stopped by the markets?
Not yet. I've been busy with other things.
And they're not lying when they say it's the center of trade around here. Puts Luneta to shame, that's for sure.
Hey, don't knock the markets in Luneta. We had a wide selection of fish, and more fish. So, did you find anything useful?
Just a few odds and ends. Here, you can have this.
Present for me? I'm touched.
If it doesn't suit you, you can always give it to someone else. Getting a gift from their commander might just make someone's day.
That's not a bad idea. I'll give it some thought.
You can give gifts to your allies in camp. When you give an ally a gift, you will gain some rapport with them. If you give them a present that aligns with their tastes, you'll gain even more. Gifts can be obtained via quest rewards and the rare goods shop. The rare goods merchant only turns up like every 3 or 4 chapters, from what I remember. She is, she is rare, literally. And I want to buy all of her rare goods whenever she any really good equipment. Not so concerned about the consumables, but all the gift items every time they turn up. Let's give someone a gift. Leather handicraft. A leather-bound ledger handmade in Hessetz. It would make a fine gift. Let's see. Francisco likes poetry. Maybe he could write some of his doggerel in it. Leon likes accounting. But he's the one who gave us the item. We shouldn't give it back to him. That would be insulting, you know? Robert likes to keep things organised and get the supplies in, support people, do the things that need doing. Robin, he kind of is young and fanciful. Leonard likes justice. He's secretive. I don't know, he's like a spy, he might like gathering information, so having something to write his notes in would be good. Marshall likes accounting, administration, bureaucracy, checking the numbers, making sure the camp runs securely. She might appreciate a generous gift of a book. Andrea is grumpy, seems to hate men, likes killing people, very protective of her sister. Gilbert likes drink. Okay. While we're here, let's invite Leon for a meal.
Hey.
Because we can get that up a good chunk. Remember when we used to eat each meal together? So we can talk about Sarah's cooking, or about Mora, the town we're in, which Leon likes, where we can get those flowers his mother likes.
Hey.
When you bring up Mora, all I can think of is the flower
Yes.
market. Yeah, we always stopped here to pick up flowers for your mum. That was the only place we could get those white poppies she loved.
Interesting.
I'll never understand why those were her favourite. We're about as plain as flowers get. That's probably why she liked them. I remember she used to just sit and stare at them in the garden. She always looked so calm.
Yeah.
Great. Now I'm depressed. Oh, try not to stew on it. She wouldn't want that. Hey, want to do this again tomorrow? We can invite Francisco too. So, Leon might like meals, but he could also just be hinting that Francisco would like meals, and we know he would. Right, we've got 20 leadership points left. We can absolutely spend 15 to give Francisco a meal, and then 5 to give one of our 2 gifts away. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The people up in this portion of camp don't want to have a meal, so literally Francisco's the only person left we could have a meal with. We can only see the characters in the area we're in currently, but if I go running up there trying to spend time checking everyone if they need a meal or not, it'll be a very long episode indeed. Right, hey Francisco, look, you're right here, man.
How's it going?
Well, look at this. You buying, brother? In that case, I'm eating. Ah, Lonetta. Just hearing the name makes me miss it. You know, I honestly can't think of a better place to live. Good people, good ale, peaceful. Or it used to be anyway. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, we had it good there. I mean, aside from you causing trouble constantly.
What the heck?
What's that supposed to mean? You want me to list every incident one by one? Fighting with shop owners, arguing with clients. Oh yeah, I had you and Robert there to clean up all my messes. Oh man, good memories. Well, they're memories anyway. And that's a wrap. Thanks, brother. So we seem to only get one conversation now over a meal. Previously in the camp minigame, the conversation minigame, we'd have 3 multi-choice conversations, and we'd have like 2 or 3 options to choose each time, and the total of them would decide how much rapport we'd gain. Speaking of which, we've had some good rapport gains now. So, looking good now with Leon. Everyone else is at this tiny smudge level, all the way down to Sarah. I don't think we have anything with Robert, Leonard, Robin, or Gilbert yet. Okay. Let's take a little wander in this direction, just to scout a few things out. So you see here, we have this raised area that's been fenced off. There's a watchtower. It might be being used for some sort of training ground, but it hasn't been put fully into use yet. So there are plans for this camp. I see a tower over there as well behind the trees. In fact, a few of them here. This is blocked off for now. And if we come this way, there's even a signpost denoting different portions of the camp. This straight palisade, nothing behind there yet, for now. This is also blocked off. And while I can wriggle through there, I'm probably not supposed to be able to, because there's nothing here for me. And the camera doesn't quite like me going through that gap. And also there's a little bit of an invisible wall that makes it a bit of a wiggle. Let me get back to here. We have Gilbert. Now, Gilbert has joined us straight away. Previously in the playtest, Gilbert was in camp and didn't join us immediately, and we had to persuade him to join us over the course of 1 or 2 camps, meaning he's now here a chapter or 2 before his previous joining with the company. I like this, and it's interesting. It changes the dynamic. We have an extra wizard in the party. Let's say hello.
Need something?
Hey, old-timer. You settling in okay? I'll manage. I've bivouacked with soldiers before. So how do we compare? To what? The Old Kingdom troops? I don't think you want to hear my answer to that. Ouch. You don't mince words, do you? If you want someone to pat you on the head, look elsewhere. But hey, what do I know? First impressions don't win wars. Results do. Let me see your people in action, then we'll talk. Oh, watch out. We might just surprise you. We'll see. So yeah, here I would have previously been very tempted to give him the lime cordial and hope it would persuade him to join us. And it would work us towards that state. And then in the next camp we could give him some more gifts and he would be definitely persuaded to join us. Now that he's already joined us, we don't need to work so much on his rapport, although it may still benefit us to do so. So there's something being set up over here. Lots of supplies haven't been fully unpacked yet, so lots of things... So there's helmets being kept over here. So there may be armor supplies in these tents. Also, these are, obviously people need place to sleep and rest. And we need a bit of personal private space. Speaking of privacy, they probably need a privy as well. Someone's busy digging shit pits, that's for certain. Right. And here, next to our tent as usual, we have Marshall. She's literally the girl next door. Or in this case, the Inquisitor next door. Let's pop in and say hello.
Yes?
You know what? So, we survived our first battle.
I agree.
Better than that, I'd say we pulled off quite a victory. Oh, got lucky anyway. A bit of advice. Take credit for your success, or others will. I'll bear that in mind. So, what do you think of our new allies, by the way?
Certainly.
Isoro's forces seem capable enough, and they certainly all seem to trust him. What do you think of his nephew, Ballastar?
It's worth considering.
I was going to ask you the same thing. He's a difficult man to read. But I expect you'll be interacting with him more in the future. If our troops don't kill each other first. Let's read a little of Ballastar. Get this number down a little bit, eh? Where is he? Have I read of him already? No, I have not. Ah, there we go. Hailing from the country of Benario, Ballastar is the heir to the prestigious Phoenicia family. Though war claimed much of his house at a young age, he was brought up under the wing of his uncle, Isoro, better known as the Broken Blade. Charismatic, calculating, and staunch in his beliefs, Ballastar's only flaw happens to be his fiery temper, leading him to act impulsively. Having witnessed the horrors of war and the suffering that followed, Ballastar holds a deep resentment towards Emperor Ludivictus. Think Ludwig van Beethoven. Come on, Raph, you can do this. He seeks nothing less than the absolute destruction of the Empire, and to be the one who brings them to their knees. With a fiery air of national authority and a voice that makes even the laziest soldier snap to attention, Ballastar quickly ascended the ranks of his uncle's army and became his most capable general. Though his heart is a fortress, he does occasionally open the gates to those who gain his trust. On rare occasions, his bellowing laugh can be heard ringing throughout the camp, especially after a victory. And Ballastar has some friends, doesn't he? Chelsea is a highborn sworn to Ballastar's house. Chelsea has a quick wit and a savage tongue. On the battlefield, she puts down enemies with ruthless efficiency. In camp, she apparently derives great pleasure from ridiculing those she deems inferior, which would happen to be almost everyone. A man of logic and logistics, Guillermo acts as the chief strategist for Isoro and his army. Though brilliant at his work, his air of condescending superiority often makes him a target of practical jokes. A wise old man who has seen his share of wars and conquests, and Ballastar's most experienced advisor. Elias has a careful, deliberate approach in war meetings. He tends to do more listening than talking, and only speaks when he has something important to say. And we have Godfrey. A burly warrior with a short temper, Godfrey enjoys the exhilaration of fighting and is constantly chasing the high of victorious battle. He doesn't hesitate to speak his mind, particularly where he perceives weakness. This is the same armor we saw in Ballastar's entry, but with a different shaped body underneath it. I think that's looking like the Berserker armor, but I'm not certain on that one. Alright, what do we got here? Commander's gift. Oh yeah, we got to give a gift to someone. Expires until the next chapter. Yeah, expires this chapter, or yeah, until next chapter. Sure, we'll do this now.
Yes?
Look, I've got a present for you, lady. You might appreciate this book. We got some gold and a what? Oh my, what do we have here? Hey, okay. What did we get? We got something, right? Or did we not get something there? Was it just for money? Right, is there anyone at all who needs potions? I'm obviously aware we don't just want recovery potions. Right, now. Let's swap in the medium recovery potions for our 3 main warriors. Well, no, our 3 heavy damage takers. There we go. Oh yeah! There was someone else back here in the marketplace. Let's just go briefly check in with them as well. Because while I was down here, I saw this fellow. Merchant Zarvoril. He's new.
How may I assist you?
Well, let's start with this.
How may I assist you?
Hello? Looks like another new face has come to camp. And who might you be? They call me Zarvoril from Viuga. As you can see, I sell the finest weapons and armor. Awfully confident for someone showing up uninvited. How do I know these weapons are any good? Every item here has been carefully hand-selected. These are no cheap Imperial blades. I prefer quality over quantity. These weapons are designed for commanders to let their strength shine through on the battlefield. So you think there's a weapon here that suits me? Oh, absolutely! But don't take my word for it. See for yourself.
Well...
Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before? With Merchant Porter just across the way. Well, let's see what he's got anyway. Zarvoril has incredibly common items. Nothing special or unusual yet. I hope his goods will improve over time. The fact that he offers common equipment means we can now easily change around our equipment if we don't have enough spare items to do so. We could probably sell this, to be honest. Let's do that. It might be nice to pick up another grimoire. If we hire or recruit another wizard of some kind, they will bring their own grimoire. But we have at least 2 characters, Eden and Robert, who may be interested in picking up a grimoire and developing it in a magical direction towards the end of their career in the campaign. So it would be good to get those grimoires. That being said, we won't need them anytime soon. However, we may want a sword and shield for Leon. We may want an axe for Robert, some leather armor for Robert, some heavy armor for Leon. So we might want to be like swapping their equipment around a bit. We might want an axe for Leonard, actually. And I'll explain that in a bit, but for now, I'll complete that transaction. That button won't do it, so, I can press this, or I can just press G on the keyboard. Yes, let's go right ahead.
My humblest gratitude.
So, let's look into this. Every character has a couple of class affinities. If I go into a class, I will gain this special unique ability. These classes are always at the bottom tier of the class tree. In Eden's case, it is the Templar class and the Overlord class, which only Eden can enter. These affinity abilities are usually unique, but not always. A few characters share affinities. Now, I know at least one viewer has expressed an interest in knowing what all these abilities are, so I'll probably read through them now, because why not? So, if we get Eden into the Overlord class, he can unlock Shield Smash. Shield Smash, usable with a shield. We've got the shield icon there. Delivers a shield attack to one enemy, inflicting damage and leaving the target stunned for 1 turn. Power free and a stun, so that will add to whatever the class unlocks. The Overlord seems to be a mixture of warrior and wizard. It requires some elemental magic. Wields sword, shield, and elemental magic to suppress enemies and bolster allies. This class is exclusive to Eden. If we send him into the Templar class, he will gain a spell, a light spell, Blessing of Light. Channels the power of light to cleanse all status effects on this unit, granting plus 10 health for each effect removed. So it's literally Marshall's purification spell, but targeting himself only. So a self-purification. Oops, let's just get back to that. So obviously we could give him a grimoire with a purification spell in it, but having one for himself means because that's a freebie, right? It's either permanently available in his grimoire, or it's permanently available for him and he doesn't have to equip it. I don't know. That's interesting when it's a spell. For Francisco, we have the Vanguard, which is a defensive, taunting, controlling type class. We have Goading Attack. Lures an enemy to a position in front of the unit, then attacks, inflicting damage and granting the immobilized status for 1 turn. So they're so angry, they've come over, and now they're not going to go away. Can only be used if the enemy's move is actually possible, so we can't make them come through impassable terrain. Power free, so it's a solid enough hit. Range 2 to 3. Gotcha. If we abandon his heavy armor, sword and shield style, or even go spear and, but if we swap him over to an axe, or spear or sword, but we'd need to go axe heavy to get the class requirements, we could put him into the Berserker class. And then he would get Finishing Blow. Inflicts damage on one enemy. The effect of this skill increases by 5 when used against an enemy at 50% health or lower. Power 5. Now I don't know exactly what power is, but power is a scaling effect, so when it comes to the spells, we know that a level 1 spell does significantly, a power 3 spell does significantly more damage than a power 2 spell, which does significantly more than a power 1 spell. So it could just be that power is added to his base physical attack, so that would be 28 damage, right? Or 33 damage if they're at half health or less. And of course, by the time he would unlock this ability, he would be significantly higher level, may have a higher physical attack score. Or it could be that power scales ever so slightly differently, and I don't know. But if I want to push him down the route towards Berserker, I would probably need to start making that choice fairly soon. Now, Leon has affinities for Berserker and Assassin. For Berserker, he has Assault Tactics, which you'll notice is different to Francisco's Finishing Blow. So, Assault Tactics, this I think is less unique. I think there's another person who gets this as a Berserker option. Charges forward, inflicting damage to enemies located up to 2 tiles in front of the unit, decreasing their movement by 1 for 1 turn. And it's power 3. So hits them, slows them down so they can't go very far, helps lock them in place a bit. For Assassin, he has Ambush Tactics. If I wanted to train him as an assassin, I would need to start training him with a sword, because the assassin requires a very high level sword skill. Grants the ambush status effect 2 turns after this skill is used. While this effect is active, if attacked by an enemy susceptible to counterattack, this unit will strike first. So he'd literally advance towards the enemy, get into his ambush stance thing, and then for the next 2 turns, if they come and attack him, he'll actually attack them first. So if they're badly wounded, and he can goad them into attacking him, he could finish them off without even taking so much as a single point of damage. That's obviously very tempting, so I need to be thinking if I want to push him in this direction soon. Robert has affinities for the Templar class and the Battle Mage class. For the Templar, we have Shield of Light. A Shield of Light envelops this unit, reducing magic damage by 30% for 2 turns. Now, Marshall currently has access to the Divine Hand spell, which does exactly the same thing. Uses per battle 4. We don't know if Robert would, if Robert's skill would get more uses per battle or less, but it's interesting that he'd get his own personal version of that spell as a Templar. So that is tempting. If he went down the Battle Mage route, he would gain target weakness, so then we'd be needing lots of elemental magic experience for him. Attacks an enemy's vulnerable point, inflicting damage and preventing them from counterattacking or using combat skills for 1 turn. Preventing them from counterattacking or using combat skills, so they'd be limited to just basic attacks. That's actually quite a good way of shutting down a foe as well. Alright, Robin has Ranger and Berserker. For Ranger, he has Honed Arrow. A power 5 skill, range 2 to 3. Strikes a single enemy, inflicting damage proportional to the target's physical defense. Damage increase is equal to physical defense divided by 10 for a maximum increase of 10. So Robin, for example, has a physical defense of 11. So if this skill was used on him right now, it would gain a +1 damage bonus. So they'd need a physical defense of 100 to get that +10. So basically this is a skill for taking down armoured targets. Targets with a very high physical defense. Because they would... it's essentially lowering their physical defense by 10% to deal more damage to them. So targets with less physical defense would probably take more damage anyway, but it's a way of, softening up hard targets. If he goes Berserker instead, using his two-handed axe a lot more, he would get Destructive Blow. Inflicts damage on one enemy, reducing their physical defense by 5 for 1 turn. So making them easier for other people to hit. And honestly, that's probably not a bad thing. Oh no, physical defense... No. Defense reduces the damage. Accuracy reduces the chance of hitting. Guard might be the one that reduces the chance of a full hit. I'm not sure, I haven't seen a ability that avoids being hit. Leonard has affinities for Battle Mage and Vanguard. Battle Mage, obviously again the Warrior Wizard class. Mysterious Throwing Axe. The Battle Mage does require something like level 3 axe skill to get into. Throws an enchanted axe at one enemy. Damage is calculated using the enemy's physical or magic defense, whichever is lower, and it's power 5. So a high damage attack that will go for whatever their lowest armor value is. That's very tempting. Vanguard is a purely warrior class that doesn't cast spells. So if I wanted to start developing in that direction, I'd probably want to start looking into that, soon, before he gets up to like double-figure levels. Counter-offensive. Troops surge forth to inflict damage on an enemy. This skill can only be used after guarding. The power of this skill is boosted by the amount of damage blocked. Power boost resets at the beginning of the turn. So, we would get him a shield or something with a high guard ability. Some passive skills would improve his guard chance. Put him in heavy armor. Go out there. And then, when he blocks attacks successfully with a guard roll, then the pocket soldiers, who we see in the background during the battles when people attack, would actually join in and hit the person who attacked him. I would really quite like to see that. That would be quite funky. And it gives me hope that there are other skills that would utilise the pocket soldiers. That's very interesting, but it is a very different build. And it's intriguing. I'd have to invest rather heavily in that. Marshall has builds for Bishop, which is light magic, and Warlock, which is dark magic, which would be Gilbert's current area of expertise. For Bishop, she would gain Flash Heal, a light spell. Uses the power of light to recover health to this unit, so it's a self-heal. Power 15? That's a massive self-heal. That's basically an emergency oh shit button for if she's taken large amounts of damage and needs to be healed very quickly. That's really nice, especially if it doesn't take up a slot in the Grimoire and it's just a freebie for being in the class. For Warlock, if she succumbed to the temptation of dark magic, she would have Degeneration. Inflicts magic damage on one enemy and prolongs any harmful status effects by 1 turn. So it's power 3, but it's like, yeah, you're bleeding, you're on fire, you're frozen, you're paralyzed or whatever. Yeah, that's just going to last an extra turn now. That is quite tasty. Andrea has affinities for Assassin and Ranger. For Ranger, she has Honed Arrow. It's the exact same one Robin has for Ranger. So not as unique as some of the others. For Assassin, she has Raid Tactics. Charges into an enemy to inflict damage, then retreats 1 tile backward. The effect of this skill increases by +3 for each status effect on the enemy. So this is kind of the opposite of Francisco's goading attack, where he makes them come to him and locks them down. Or it's kind of like Assault Tactics, right, for Leon, where he runs forwards, because Ambush Tactics he stands where he is. Assault Tactics he rushes over and bashes into him, slows him down a bit. Whereas for her, she punishes negative conditions and then backs away out of reach, so they have to come and get her if they want to. Neither of these would require too much of a redirection in terms of her skills, but we need to up her weapon skills significantly in the not too distant future. Gilbert has affinities for Warlock and Sorcerer. I don't remember Sorcerer. For Warlock, he has Mana Blast. Inflicts magic damage to one enemy with the strength proportional to the caster's magic power. So in his case, currently 22, or damage increase is equal to magic divided by 10 for a maximum increase of 10. So yeah, +2 at the moment, right? So basically, the higher his magic damage stat, so we can give him items that could boost that, the more damage this would do. And for Sorcerer, Mistral March uses the power of wind to transport an ally to an adjacent tile and increase their movement by an amount equal to magic divided by 10. Range 1 to 1. So I would cast this on an ally who is not adjacent to pull them to that adjacent one tile range. So pull an ally over to where he is and give him a movement boost. Sorcerer, what does it require? Elemental Magic 10, Cloth Armor 8. Okay, both of these are very tempting. A Master class specialized in Elemental Magic. In addition to... Oh, Elemental Magic, right, so I'd need to redirect his efforts into that. I see now, I see. So that's all the class affinities, and obviously if I'm going to start pushing someone down a different path anytime soon, I need to probably be deciding that soon. So why don't you guys let me know in the comments section which affinities you like for each of the characters and which classes you might like to see them developing towards. I can't promise that I'll agree with everyone and go where people want, but hey, I'll definitely be giving it some heavy consideration. In the meantime though, I think this episode has probably gone on for quite long enough, so I'm going to leave this one here before I depart from camp. I hope you've all enjoyed this one, and I do look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. I'm going to say goodbye for now though, and cheerio everyone! See you all next time.